Hello, good morning. I'm Maureen Claffy and I'm an artist, and so are you. And I'm so grateful that you're here this morning. I want to take you through the structure that I'm creating in watercolor so that you can see a little bit of my process in an effort to help you establish your own. And I want to start by asking you today if you're breathing, if you're paying attention to your breath. It's very important in this time of coronavirus to saturate ourselves with oxygen, to draw the love in through our lungs and then out through our mouth. So as we begin, please remember your breath and your connection to your soul and to the divine through your heart center as we begin to make art together. I'm so grateful that you're here. Let's begin. This is something that I laid out for us to work on. Okay, I just want to make sure I can get everything in here that you'll be able to see what I'm doing. I think that's good. What I did is I took this piece of art that I pulled out yesterday when I showed you a lot of the things that I had in process. And I decided to see what I could do in terms of laying a structure to it. So I'm just going to move aside all of these pencils that I've assembled for today, as well as my brushes. And just to give you an idea of what I've created, I went back and looked at it, and I decided that I liked this purple. This is Holbein Bright Violet, and it dries really beautiful on this illustration board. It dries beautifully on this illustration board. And it's really easy to layer pencil on top of this. So what I did is I added over the top of the painting a structure with this color. And I thought it turned out pretty well. And then I also decided, which I don't always do, I decided an orientation for the painting. Oh, look, I've got iridescent paint on my hand. It's so beautiful. I don't always do that. Most of the time when I sell to a collector, I encourage them to hang the painting in whichever direction works for them. But this one, I think, works really well with this central orb here, and you're actually looking at it in reverse. So at the end, I'll show it to you from my perspective. So in looking at it, I have this over here. I've got like this pattern with colored pencil. I don't know if you can see this right here. And this is an old line, and I probably made this line 5 years ago, and I have no idea which pencil that is. But I'd like to approximate it because I want to pull this type of line, which I still know how to make, in this color back through the painting over here to create balance. So what I'm going to do is I went in and I sharpened a bunch of pencils. And so I'm just going to kind of look at this one and see, okay, is this one close? It's actually not. But I'm just going to add a few little marks here just to see. This one has this blue actually has quite a bit of yellow in it, so I'm going to try this one. And that still has a lot of blue. So at that point, it's kind of like, okay, make a decision. Do I want to dig through all of my pencils to make an exact match, or do I want to move ahead? And for me, it's usually I want to move ahead. So I'm going to start. What I will do with this is make lines, and they're not actually reproducing. I probably actually need that pencil. That's better. Okay. And what I do sometimes when it's not an exact match is I completely jump off in a completely different direction, like this, and use a darker pencil. And then what I'll do is I'll continue to keep the rhythm and the flow of the painting. I'll jump to this side of the painting and I'll use this color. And I'll kind of like fill it in here, keeping in mind all the time like the balance and the rhythm and the song that I'm hoping to bring to a work. Okay? I mean, actually, this is working out. See, what's the beautiful thing about art is it makes our minds very flexible. Sometimes we get really stuck on an idea or a certain way we think things should be. And I teach this to the children all the time, and they are so wonderful at grasping this concept, and they actually teach it back to me sometimes, which I'm so grateful for. That when things don't work out for us the way we thought, we can choose to see that as an opportunity. You can choose to go like, okay, I'm gonna like trash this whole piece of art and I'm throwing it away. Or I'm gonna experiment with what I've got and see how I can create even more beauty from something I hadn't anticipated. And isn't that like the perfect lesson for this time in our lives, as a nation, as a world? Like, what are we doing where we are now? See, here comes the blue again. I mean, when I can't help but think of that Annie Lennox song. Here comes the rain again, falling on my head like a memory. So anyway, here comes the blue again. And release your spirit. Release all of your anxiety. Allow it to flow from your heart onto the paper and make marks that bring you joy. Focus on the sound of the pencil hitting the paper. Focus. Sorry, I'm just going to move this over so you can see. There you go. Hopefully you'll be able to see now. Focus on... Thanks for being patient with me. Here we go. Focus on the sound and how that makes you feel to pull the pencil across the paper. I'm going to come in with this and see what I can do. This is like this beautiful blue cauliflower. And I'm kind of pull through. What I covered over here was a really beautiful pattern in iridescent, so I'm going to go down here and pick one up. When the watercolor lays on the paper, it kind of pools a little bit, and you kind of just go in and pick up designs that you see that you've created through just being brave enough to lay down watercolor and see what happens. This is where the mind is released, for me, in creating pattern here. Now that's a rather bold circle. This is a Prismacolor metallic silver pencil. So what's cool about this and why I picked this Holbein bright violet watercolor is that, check this out. See how this layers on top of it? Do you see how like bright and radiant that is? The way it accepts it provides a dark background for the pencil to adhere. Can you see that right here? Right here? Okay. And it just pops off the paper. So that's something I really enjoy. And I enjoy creating a structure on top of what has tremendous fluidity and a beautiful element of chaos. Now I've kind of like committed myself here by making this circle. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it, but I'm going to come back to it and it'll find a way for it to fit in. But for now, I want to add these silver lines. There's a beautiful line here that was in the original, and this is beautiful, this shape. So I think I'm going to leave that and then continue my lines down here. A little bit of outline, a little bit of line continuation. Okay. Over the top and back. Following the rhythm. Working in this manner really sets me into the flow of life, helps me release all of my worries. Any anxieties I may have about the future vanish when I create art. And I would encourage you to consider the possibility that it might be the same for you, because I can pretty much assure you that it is. The human mind, the human mind responds to beauty. Responds to joy, and we have the capacity to create it for ourselves in this moment, in this day. So did you see here, I don't know if you can see this or not, and I'll give you a little up close in a minute, but there's a gold dot pattern here that I'm kind of moving through, almost like hail through a snowstorm with silver dots. Okay, and then I'm going to move up here to this next patch that I've laid out of this dried violet watercolor. I've got gold dots here, and I'm going to kind of just, I don't want to say slash, but yeah, it feels like just slash through them. The beautiful thing about materials is that they become very much your own. They become very much your familiar thing. I was looking, I usually keep all my metallic pencils together and I couldn't find them this morning, so I was digging around. And I found a few. And I'm gonna make a little design in here. And I'm gonna move back up to this little piece right here. There's some gorgeous little things in here. And I'm gonna kind of like circle around them and discover what patterns lie in here that were created already through chaos. And bring a little bit of structure to it so the human eye has a place to rest and to ponder and to delight in the joy. So there's that. And just to bring some unity from this space down here, I'm going to layer up here. And I'm going to layer right here. Okay, moving over to this spot right here. Now this is a really fun little thing. These are like three little, of course you want to say like three little kittens who lost their mittens, three little pigs, whatever you want to say, but that's interesting the way those laid out. So I think I'm going to do something different. I'm going to put a circle in each one. I don't know why. And again, circle. Okay, and then I'm going to take that circle motif and bring it down here as well. Okay. All right, this is the centerpiece of the painting right here. So most of the time what I do with that is I wait to see what like I've developed so that my focal point, I can deliver my message really clearly, whatever that message is, as it's still being developed right now. So, but I am going to move across here to this side. I don't want to distract you, hope that's okay. Where I've laid in more of this violet watercolor, and again, it has dried. And I'm going to, starting over here, I'm going to put in these silver marks. I love the way the pencil sounds as it hits. And I'm going to jump across here and bring some of those marks here as well. Now these are more rounded shapes, and I feel like, okay, I've just started this pattern with circles. I'm going to repeat it here. So I've got it here, here, and here, and here, and here. So that's like the magical musical part of your art, is saying, okay, like I'm setting in patterns with lines and circles, and how do they lay off and appeal to the eye? I'm going to go up here as well. Circle. Circle. Oh, and look at this. This is what's so much fun, is that you find things as you go along. These two get circles as well. I like to avoid, though, making things like that look like faces, because it kind of distracts people. But because once you see a face, it's kind of hard to unsee. I've discovered that with collectors. There's one painting that I like painted a face into. Didn't realize it. And had to come back to it, which was fine actually. I learned a lot. So, wow. This just kind of created these like flower shapes, just in the way that iridescent paint falls off the brush and then dries. So I'm just doing a little bit of outlining and really just like releasing my mind to be full of the beauty of watching it. of watching it come to life. That looks cool. I like that. I'm going to bring this down here around my center circle. I'm repeating that. And that almost just came intuitively. So what's really cool about art, it can be a place where you are without fear. And wouldn't that be a beautiful way for us all to live our lives? Witness yourself make jumps, take challenges. It's only paper. It's only art supplies. Be brave and express yourself. Okay, so what's really fun about this one, and I know I mentioned this yesterday, is I started this like 5 years ago and then had every intention of finishing it, but got distracted by life. Here's a little heart. I'm gonna pull that little heart out. And so it's really fun to be finishing it because I love these illustration boards. And there were like 4 other pieces that were part of this series that I had scanned. So I'll have to go back and look and see what I was actually thinking about. These on the beach in Michigan. So there's no doubt that they were nature-based for me. I get tremendous quiet and peace of mind and encouragement from being in nature. Can you see my hand? I'm so sorry. There's my hand. I get tremendous encouragement from being in nature. So this painting is about water. It feels like a moon over water to me. There you go. So, all right. Let's just work a little bit through here, and then I'm going to take you back and show it to you. You see that? I'm coming down here. I've got like these orange circles down here. I don't know. I made those like 5 years ago. Somehow they matched the circles up there. I didn't really see that. But I'm filling in with a circle, a silver circle on the inside of it, and I'm taking this up here, another silver circle. I'm going to put a silver circle, kind of a 3/4 one there. Silver line here. Oh, I love those, making those lines. And then here we go. And around and back. And back. And back. And back. Okay. Wow, so much fun. I'm just going to continue layering this down. There's a beautiful pattern in here. I'm not sure what to do with it. I think I'm going to fill it in with like a little bit of silver. Places where on the places where the watercolor is a little bit thin, just to add some beauty. And silver lines here. I don't want to layer too much to completely obscure the violet watercolor because it's so beautiful. I am going to outline this form. I love making forms like that are almost like ribbons. I remember when I learned how to draw ribbons. And it just opened up so many things for me. So, little ribbon shape. Here's another little ribbon shape. This little ribbon flying in space. I'm going to make his little underside here with a little pencil mark. And here's what I'm going to do up here. So now I've declared the centerpiece for my painting. It seems to me that I'm painting about wholeness and oneness. And certainly we're all being reminded that we are one. We are one human family. And we can all get the same virus. So, outlining a bit here. And coming back over here. I feel like I've really committed myself with this. I don't know what to do with it. Let's stretch it out. Actually, you know what? In my paintings, I always put my dragonfly, which is a symbol of God and me and my 4 children. So there it is. That's going to be my dragonfly. Feels like there's another one here, which is good. And maybe another one over there. Okay. So, I'm going to bring you back around to see the painting the way I see it. So I hope that, can you see that? Let's just do it this way. How's that? Can you see that? That is, I'm going to finish it and post about it and continue that same process with layering pencil, and then we'll see what happens. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I love doing these lessons. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. All my love to you. Let's make it a beautiful day. Bye-bye.